Kia ora.
Kevin Haig.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's my pleasure to take a call on this bill. I want to begin by expressing my gratitude to the officials and to other committee members from the Government Administration Committee who kindly allowed me to join them for consideration of the submissions on this bill, and in particular to the chair of that committee, Ruth Dyson, and also to express my appreciation to the submitters on the bill. There were some thoughtful submissions, some of which have already been mentioned. I want to just in passing raise the issue that is addressed tangentially in the report from the committee about a procedural matter, which is that because of the timing of this bill, the process followed by the committee prior to the last election, the 2011 election, was to open submissions but with no closing date. And no closing date was effectively set until this Parliament's Government Administration Committee was convened and chose to pick up the business, including this bill. What that meant, and possibly that there was a necessary process given the rules that we have and work with, but what that meant for submitters was that many organisations who had an interest and a stake in this bill and who wished to have their views heard were either not aware that submissions were open or were not aware when submissions were going to close. And certainly we heard quite a lot of feedback from potential submitters that they were frustrated and angry about that lack of clarity. And so I think it would be useful for perhaps the Business Committee or perhaps your own office, sir, to look at that matter to see whether that could be tidied up to better reflect a good process for submitters in the future on other bills. So the Green Party opposes this bill, and we do so reluctantly because there are aspects of it that we support, and when the bill, should it proceed, is split into several separate bills, there is at least one of those that we will vote for. That part of the bill that we support relates to the creation of the Health Promotion Agency. There's been some commentary, both from the Minister's speech in this reading of the bill and also from officials that this is a bill that gives effect or has been drafted to give effect to the Ottawa Charter on health promotion. Now I'm a bit of a fan of the Ottawa Charter, and so I was very excited to think that a bill would be giving specific effect to it. And it's possible that the Minister may like, in the committee stage, to move an SOP to more explicitly give effect to the Ottawa Charter in the wording of the bill, because my concern is that while that's the rhetoric around the bill, actually the bill doesn't go that far. The Ottawa Charter is important, sir, because it establishes a new approach to health. And within the health sector, we talk about the Ottawa Charter and health promotion as a socio-environmental approach to health. And we contrast that to both the biomedical approach and also the health behaviour approach. The biomedical approach tries to explain patterns of health and illness in communities by the distribution of germs, effectively, of bacteria and viruses. And in fact, that explanation fails to predict what is actually observed in terms of the distribution of health and illness. And then, sir, the health behaviour model came along, and health behaviourists say, well, it's not so much the viruses and the bacteria, the biomedical causes of illness. It's actually people's lifestyle choices, and so we see this phrase, healthy lifestyles. And what that, of course, is an attempt to do is to actually bring forward the theory of economics, of microeconomics, of the rational decision maker into the health arena. And so the theory behind that is that a person will weigh up the advantages and disadvantages of a potential course of action or health behaviour and choose the right one. And so if we could only encourage people to make the right lifestyle choices, then we would all be healthier. And in fact, again, what we see is a pattern of health and illness that does not support that as the primary driver of health and illness. Instead, what we see is disease clustered in particular communities. And that's not because everyone in those communities makes poor lifestyle choices. What health promotion says, and what the Ottawa Charter says, is that that is because health and disease are functions of the level of empowerment of a particular community, control over the life circumstances that people in that community enjoy, and their relative marginalisation. And so what the Ottawa Charter says, sir, and I talked about this a little in the first reading speech, is that Mr. Speaker, if the nation wishes to improve the health of communities, we must improve the social and physical environment surrounding those communities, and to give those communities greater control over their life circumstances. Well, it's a profound change, and sir, I'd like to give particular tribute to this minister and this government for their bravery in deciding to set up an agency with the specific function of enacting the Ottawa Charter. And Mr. Speaker, if the minister chooses not to be more explicit about that in a ministerial SIP at the committee stage, then I invite the new Health Promotion Agency to take it from the debate in this House that is indeed the direction the government wishes it to pursue. So, Mr. Speaker, that's a part of this bill that the Green Party supports, and we'll vote for a bill to achieve that. The second area that I want to comment on is the change that's being made around the Mental Health Commission, and I spoke about this in my first reading speech, pointing out that mental health services have long been Cinderella services within the health sector, and the Mental Health Commission was intended as the game changer to try to very radically alter the direction. The Minister is quite correct in her remarks to say that it was intended that there would be a finite period for the Mental Health Commission. But what I would encourage the government to do, sir, is to reflect on the fact that the job is not yet done. And in particular, the reasons why the Green Party will oppose the government's intention to fold the Mental Health Commission into the Office of the Health and Disability Commissioner are that the functions are so greatly different. What the Mental Health Commission has been great at doing is taking on a planning function for mental health services and then monitoring against the plan at a macro scale. That is fundamentally different, sir, to the type of role performed by the Health and Disability Commissioner that has investigated individual cases and tried to draw on learning about that particular case to better inform how services are provided in the future. These are not the same functions, and there is no case that's been made out to, in fact, fold the Mental Health Commission into the Health and Disability Commission. My colleague Denise Roche is going to talk about the dreadful change that's planned for the Charities Commission. That is completely wrong, sir, and we will oppose that as strongly as we possibly can. Thank you, sir.
Chris Hockenvold.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And it's